Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Learn German with Pooja. Now in this video we will be covering a very important topic of class 9 from chapter 1, that is Satzverbindung wenn. Satzverbindung wenn, Satzverbindung bedeutet sentence connector. Verbinden is a verb which means to connect. So from this verb we have got this noun Verbindung which means connector, right? So this is the very first topic of chapter 1. Our chapter's name is Allein zu Hause, which means alone at home. Okay, Lektion 1. So Grammatik are the very first topic. Satzverbindung, sentence connector, when, and the connector's name is when. Before directly coming to when, we should know what is a connector. Why do we use a connector, right? So, eine Satzverbindung verbindet zwei Sätze mit einander. So, eine Satzverbindung, a sentence connector. Satzverbindung means sentence connector. Verbindet, it combines, it connects. Zwei Sätze, two sentences miteinander, with each other. Now, a sentence connector connects two sentences with each other. Now, what two sentences does a sentence connector connects? That is Hauptsatz. Hauptsatz is main clause und Nebensatz and subordinate clause. Okay, so sentence connector is used to connect two clauses or two sentences. One is main clause, that is called independent clause, and second is subordinate clause, that is the dependent clause. I hope it's clear. Now let's understand the difference between Hauptsatz and Nebensatz. So in English, we know that Hauptsatz is called main clause. Hauptsatz is called main clause. The other name for this is independent clause. Okay. And Nebensatz in English is called subordinate clause, or we can call it dependent clause. Okay. So in English, these are the meaning. But in German, the main difference between these two is the sentence structure. Okay. In Hauptsatz, the sentence structure will be this: subject, verb, and object. It means subject stays at first place, verb comes at second place, and then comes the rest of the things. It can be an object, it can be an adjective, adverb, anything. Okay, the main focus should be on the verb. So please take care, in Hauptsatz verb comes at second place, that too in conjugated form. Okay, now coming to Nebensatz. So Nebensatz is a subordinate clause. Okay, so in subordinate clause, the conjugated verb goes in the end. Am Ende, it means in the end. Okay? So this is the main difference we have between Hauptsatz and Nebensatz. In Hauptsatz, verb comes at second place. In Nebensatz, in subordinate clause, verb comes in the end of the sentence. Okay? Now let's understand the meaning of this connector. Bedeutung von wenn. Bedeutung is meaning of the connector when. So when benutzt man Bedingung or Wiederholung. So there are two meanings of when. The first meaning is Bedingung. Bedingung means condition. Okay. The first place or the first situation where we use this when. So when is used either for conditional sentences or for Wiederholung. Wiederholung means repetition. Okay. For example, let's say, if you will help me, I will come with you. Okay. So here in this sentence, I am giving you a condition that first you need to help me. This is my condition, and then I will come with you. Okay. So in this sentence, when is working as a conditional connector. Okay. Here its meaning is if. Okay. Now coming to the second meaning, that is Wiederholung. Wiederholung means immer when we are talking about repetition. Okay. Here in this sentence, the meaning of when will be whenever. For example, whenever I go to Germany, I buy chocolates. Okay. So here in this sentence, when is used to show the repetitive task, right? So whenever I go to Germany, so it's like always, right? Immer when, so always. ठीक है, जब भी मैं जाती हूँ. So for the repetition we use when, and second is for showing the conditional sentences. Okay. Now let's understand these two in details with some sentence structure and examples.
If you remember in class 8, we had done one connector that was while. So if you remember the sentence structure with while, the conjugated verb goes in the end. Why? Because while is a Nebensatz connector. Similarly, this when is also a Nebensatz connector, which means the conjugated verb will go in the end.
Now, what is the sentence structure? We have two sentence structures for it. First is that we start with Hauptsatz. First sentence structure is that we start with the main clause in which the verb will stay in the second position. Then we will put a comma. So, I have highlighted this comma in red because this comma is very important. Okay. So, after writing this main clause, we will put a comma. We will write down our connector, and as we are putting a connector here, so the conjugated verb of that sentence will go in the end. This is one sentence structure we have for the connector when, that is Hauptsatz, comma, connector, and then the Nebensatz. Nebensatz means the verb will go in the end. Okay. Other sentence structure, okay. Instead of this, if you want to start with a connector, then what will be the sentence structure? So, if you want to start the sentence with condition or with repetition, so the conjugated verb will go in the end of that sentence. But here in this one, the conjugated verb of the main clause will also come at first place. Okay. So, Hauptsatz sentence structure will also get changed if we will begin the sentence with a connector. Clear? So, these are the two sentence structures we have. Let me make it more clear with the help of some examples. So, here we have the very first example. For example, if I say, Ich habe Zeit, I have time. Ich gehe ins Kino. I am going to the kino. I am going to the cinema. So, ich gehe ins Kino. I am going to the cinema wenn ich Zeit habe. So, this is my condition that if I have time, then I go to the cinema. Okay. Or whenever I have time, I go to the cinema. Clear? So, first sentence is that we are beginning with the main clause, we are putting the connector, and the conjugated verb of this sentence is in the end. This is first sentence structure. Now, let's just talk about the second sentence structure. In this one, we are beginning with the connector. This is our connector. According to this, the conjugated verb is in the end. So, wenn ich Zeit habe, and here we will put the conjugated verb of the main clause at first place. Gehe ich in Kino. Now, there is no difference between the meaning of these sentences. Clear? Make sure you don't get confused between the sentence structure, and you don't have to write both of them in the exam. In exam, it's totally up to you which sentence structure you want to go for, right? First and second, both are correct, and the meaning of both the sentences are also same. So, no need to worry about meaning, okay? Now, we have some more examples here. For example, ich bleibe zu Hause, es regnet. So, this is our condition that if it rains, I stay at home, right? Ich bleibe zu Hause, wenn es regnet. Here in this sentence, we do not have any object. So, the verb is in the end. Clear? But when we will begin this sentence with the connector, then the sentence structure will be like this. Wenn es regnet, bleibe ich
Zu Hause.
Now, the next example is, du bekommst gute Noten, du lernst. So, the condition here is, if you learn, then you get the good marks. Okay. So, du bekommst gute Noten, wenn du lernst. Or the another sentence structure is, wenn du lernst, bekommst du gute Noten. So, if you learn, you get good marks. Now, all these three sentences were conditional. Now, we will move to the Wiederholung. Wenn für Wiederholung, when for repetition. If we are talking about an action that is happening again and again, so in that case, how can we use when? For example, ich entspanne mich, ich höre Musik. So it means when I hear music or whenever I hear music, ich entspanne mich. Now here the verb is sich entspannen, which means to relax. Now this is a reflexive verb. Reflexive verbs we have already done in 8th standard, right? Okay, so the answer to this one is, ich entspanne mich, I relax myself, wenn ich Musik höre. So, whenever I listen to music, the verb is in the end. Similarly, if you begin with the connector, the verb will go in the end. Wenn ich Musik höre, whenever I listen to the music, entspanne ich mich. So, the conjugated verb is at first place. Clear? We have two sentence structure. Second, ich bin glücklich, ich sehe meine Freunde. So I am happy, I see my friend. So whenever I see my friend, I become happy. Okay. Ich bin glücklich, wenn ich meine Freunde sehe. Or wenn ich meine Freunde sehe, whenever I see my friends, bin ich glücklich. I am happy. Clear? Now we will be doing the get ready exercise given in your book. So here the first question is, der Onkel hat Geburtstag, wir schenken ihm einen Gutschein. So the answer to this one is, wenn der Onkel Geburtstag hat, schenken wir ihm einen Gutschein. Clear? Or you can write, wir schenken ihm, then instead of ihm, you will write der Onkel. Okay, if you want to begin with the main clause, then you will write, wir schenken den Onkel einen Gutschein, wenn Geburtstag hat. Clear? Coming to the next one. Wir sind in Köln, wir besuchen unsere Tante. So wenn wir in Köln sind, it means whenever we are in Köln, besuchen wir unsere Tante. We always visit our aunt. So this is related to Wiederholung. Okay. Next. Oma und Opa feiern Silberhochzeit. Ich gratuliere mit einem Gedicht. Gedicht is poem. So when grandparents, Oma and Opa, which means grandmother and grandfather, when they feiern, when they celebrate their Silberhochzeit. Silberhochzeit is silver anniversary, like silver jubilee. Okay. So I congratulate them with a poem. Okay. So when Oma und Opa Silberhochzeit feiern, gratuliere ich mit einem Gedicht. Clear? This is the example. This is the answer for the third one. Clear? This is how we can do the rest. Also, after completing this exercise, you can check your answers from the description. I'll be writing all the answers in the description. Next, we have the second type of when. In this question, we have the questions given and the hints for the answers are also given in the bracket. So what we have to do here is, we need to take the hint, we need to use these hints using the connector when, and we need to answer the question. Clear? For example, first is, one goes to tanzen. When do you go for dancing? So the hint is given, du mitkommen. It means when you will come with me, the condition here is, when you will come with me, I will go for dancing. Okay. The question is being asked to you, do form. So the answer you will be writing in ish form. Okay. So when du mitkommst, do not forget to conjugate the verb. So when du mitkommst, gehe ich tanzen. Clear? You will answer in ish. Next is, one fliegst du nach Australien. When will you fly to Australia? Now the hint is, die Eltern das Ticket bezahlen. So when my parents will pay for the ticket. Okay. So when the parents, you can write die Eltern, you can write die Eltern, or you can also write wenn meine. You can write die Eltern, or you can also write meine. Wenn meine Eltern für das Ticket bezahlen, fliege ich nach Australien. Clear? So when my parents or when the parents will pay for the ticket, I will go to Australia. Next question is, wann fährt langsam? So when does he drive slowly? Schnee geben. It means when there is snow. Clear? So wenn es Schnee gibt, again the conjugation of geben according to S is gibt. Now don't get confused, where are we getting this s from or these things für from. This again you need to apply some understanding, right? So wenn es Schnee gibt, when there is snow, fährt langsam. He drives slowly. So similarly you can do the rest. So now we have the last exercise of your book, that is Ergänzen Sie die Sätze frei. So we already have the beginning of the sentences given and we just need to complete it. For example, wenn das Wetter schön ist, if the weather is good, dann spiele ich Fußball mit meinen Freunden. ठीक है? So the situation here is, the condition here is when das Wetter schön ist, if the weather is good. So your sentence is that I will play football with my friends. Next is wenn es regnet. So if it rains, then bleibe ich zu Hause. I stay at home. Clear? Next is wenn meine Mutter Freizeit hat. When my mother has some free time, dann sehen wir zusammen fern. Then we watch together TV. Okay? Fan, or you can mention einen Film. Clear? And instead of sehen, you can also use schauen. Schauen is also means to watch. Clear? So the rest of the sentences you can complete on your own. I hope this exercise is clear. So that is all about when. If you still have any doubt, you can write it in the comment section. See you in the next video. Tschüssi!